Well, first, good day to you one and all, and welcome to the new look Second Gear Productions, hand in hand with Sports and GT Masters and numerous other series that we'll be bringing to you through Second Gear Productions for iRacing South Africa. This is round number 6, and joining me tonight is FC Nivote. FC, good evening to you.
Yeah, wonderful to be out here with you, Gary, from the upgraded Second Gear Production studio, and bringing to you live the round number 6 of the Sports and GT Master Series, coming to you tonight from the Red Bull Ring out in Spielberg in Austria, previously known as the Österreichring and the A1 Ring, but now in the hands of Red Bull Racing, or the parent company Red Bull, owning the circuit out in Spielberg in Austria. Track length 4.28 kilometers. Track temperature out there 18 degrees, about 677 meters above sea level, and commentating brought to you tonight by Gary Fleming and myself, FC Nivote, and it promises to be a big one once again.
Yep, no doubt about it. So, FC, is that a clear picture or is that a clear day? I think it's both at Red Bull Ring. This place opened up in 1969, can you believe it? And takes a capacity of 40,000 people. Some people say there's 8 corners, some people say there's 10 corners. There are 2 sections of the circuit, it's got a bit of a kink in it. And depending on which series is actually riding there, they look at it as 8 and or 10 corners. The well-known ones, Castrol Edge, Remus, Schloss Gold, Rauch, Werthkurve, that's a very well-known one, Rindt, and then the Red Bull Mobile. And I mean, it is the Red Bull Ring. So, yeah, Verstappen and the boys will know this one well.
Yeah, they'll know this one very, very well, especially having had Formula One at the circuit twice in the last 2 years. So that's 4 times in the last 2 years that we've raced out at the Red Bull Ring in a Formula One. But we are out here tonight in Sports and GT Master Series, and the guys will be challenging this one with the Dallara Formula 3 cars. And that is going to be very, very interesting. This is always a lovely shot for me, especially on the live TV shots when they go over that Red Bull statue and the arch as the helicopter flies over that. But the guys have been out there practicing, and we've now moved on over to the qualifying. And if this is like any of the other 5 rounds that we've already had in 2022, tonight promises to be a humdinger of note for round number 6 of the Sports and GT as Graham Stephen gets out onto the circuit.
Yep, he's one of the first guys out on circuit, and looks like Luke Lucchesi's out there as well. A massive big thanks to Luke Lucchesi, Jaco Steyn, that have done massive amounts of hard labor in the background to put together the new studio. And to the folks, we're going to put an official word out to the folks that helped to finance it as well. Wow, I tell you what, this is going to be the next level.
I mean, the only time you'll be able to get a clearer picture out here is if you're actually down by the track yourself. So a big, big thanks to everybody that's helped take Second Gear Productions and a Sports and GT Master Series broadcasting to a whole new level as we head into the rest of the 2022 season. A lot of the guys out on circuit. Everybody will be putting in the qualifying laps now. Ooh, as you see, a bit of a lock-up there from Graham Stephen. But looking forward to what's happening here in 2022.
So that's what Graham Stevens' car looks like. Andre Steenkamp out there on circuit as well. Well, that's as close as you can get to the Batmobile colors. Luke Lucchesi, the man that's making that car look very much like a Scarlet Ferrari. Nice to see Raymond Duggan out there as well. And remember, for those of you that haven't watched this type of racing on a regular basis, the guys go out, they get a hot lap, and then when they complete their second lap, you will see those qualifying times coming up on the left-hand side screen, and you can see exactly what the guys are doing.
Yeah, Raymond Duggan out there in the Fernando Alonso era looking Renault colors. Behind it, the next man will be Peter Hubert. Let's have a look and see what that car looks like. That's a Jordan Formula One car, the old Benson and Hedges Jordan Formula One team colors. And he's racing out. Next man out on circuit, JJ van der Merwe. He's out there. That looks like almost like Lotus colors, black and gold.
Oh, the old Lotus.
The old Lotus colors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Francois Hubert out there as well. And, well, he's always...
That's AlphaTauri.
Yep, he likes that black and white colouring. And then Peter van der Spey, the man that was very instrumental in making all of this possible for us. Big thanks to Peter van der Spey as well. Also out there, Gerald Maget, man that's gone from strength to strength and getting quicker and quicker race for race.
Yeah, Gulf oil colours there for Gerald Maget. Then who else have we got on circuit there, Gary, as the guys start pumping in the laps? We've got Eugene Manuk. Eugene Manuk, that looks like it's old Honda colours.
Wow, that goes back a bit.
Yeah, that definitely looks like old Honda colours out there.
It wouldn't be red 5, eh? It's just like, makes you think about it.
Then we've got Johan Engelbrecht. There we go. First time's up on screen. Graham Stephen was fastest. Francois Hubert doesn't waste time and pips him by a full second. Francois Hubert takes the lead in this qualifying with Stephen, Lazarus, Willem Pinaar, Gerald Maget, Wayne Camage, all of them putting up times. JJ van der Merwe goes up in 4th position. Let's see who can be the first one to dethrone the guys out there. Francois Hubert on a 124.393, a full second almost ahead there of Graham Stephen.
Well, this is one man that hasn't put up a time yet. That is the man himself, Johan Fourie.
Yeah, Johan Fourie, that was probably, Monster Energy, of course. I don't know why we expected anything else.
Yeah.
But
should it change? I mean, he's fast in Monster colours. And stuff.
Yeah, lovely to see him out on circuit. Let's see who else have we got out there that hasn't posted a time yet. We've got Rainier Hubert, he's out there. What is that? That's the Renault colours that we spoke about earlier. Let's have a look. Can he post a time out here? That's coming. No, he's only started his flying lap around about now.
Suisse Hubert out there as well. And we've only got 8 guys so far that have done. Remember, if you don't put in a clean lap, if you go off track limits, it also then doesn't load you up with that time. So at this stage of the fight, Francois Hubert is the fastest man out there. He's actually on another lap. There is Francois Hubert. Let's see, what does he do? Does he go quicker?
He
does.
The
line.
He does.
Look at
5 tenths, half a second quicker goes the likes there of Francois Hubert in the 304 car. Johan Fourie only goes second fastest with a 124.112. Is this the resurgence and the comeback for Francois Hubert, who is an ex-champion here at Sports and GT Master Series?
No doubt about it. Leonardo Beccari, first time that we see Leonardo out there. Well, there was only a 5-minute qualifier, and that gives everybody an opportunity to get out on circuit. And let's have a look at that grid.
Yeah, starting on pole position, Francois Hubert leads them in the 304. Alongside him, Johan Fourie. Row number 2, Johan Engelbrecht with Graham Stephen alongside him. Robbie Teings and Herman Lazarus rounding up your top 6.
Johannes van der Merwe and Andre Steenkamp in the Batmobile rounding out the top 10. Willem Pinaar and Gerald Maget.
Yeah, then row number 6, Leonardo Beccari, Wayne Camage on that 12th position. Luke Lucchesi only starting there in 13th position. Couldn't get a clean lap together. Willem Botha alongside him in the Toyota Gazoo Racing colours, with Peter Hubert in P15 and Mike Verrier rounding off that row number 8. Raymond Duggan out there in 17th, with Sandro Beccari in 18th. Suisse Hubert in 19th, with Stephen McCarthy in 20th position.
Well, that's the whole group of them out there. Let's get a nice, oh, look at that. Isn't that a beautiful sight? And the grandstands pro-COVID-19 are full.
Yeah, full to the brim. And they're lucky they don't have to wear masks. They're almost like in Namibia. They don't have to wear masks anymore. But let's see what can happen here. Can Francois Hubert take the fight to the guys that are leading the championship at this stage of the fight? Will Johan Fourie be able to make a move going into turn number 1? We'll have to wait and see. Castrol Edge corner will be that deciding factor. We've seen many an incident into that corner in most of the other racing series that take place on a weekly basis. Let's see, we're just waiting for everybody to get into their grid slots.
Well, there, Johan Engelbrecht just came up on screen now. So Johan Engelbrecht has gotten onto the grid. Well, here we go. The lights are going to go on, and when they go off, it'll be all systems go. Welcome, everybody.
And we are racing at the Red Bull Ring for Sports and GT Master Series. A lot of the guys ducking and diving to try and make their passing maneuvers on the side. And there's a big pile-up down the main straight. And it looks like it is Francois Hubert that maintains that lead, as there's another pile-up behind them. But it is Hubert from Johan Fourie. Herman Lazarus finds himself in P3 going through that second corner. Then riding on board with the rest of the field, Johan Engelbrecht dropping down to 13th position now in that number 10 Scarlet Ferrari. but a lot of the guys being out of position. Johan Fourie is now chasing our leader, but it's Francois Hubert who's sitting in the pound seats.
Francois Hubert just going from strength to strength. Francois Hubert from Johan Fourie. Look at this one. It's going to be Andre Steenkamp that finds himself up in there behind Herman Lazarus. So they've scored big time in that first little fracas that there was. Wayne Camage, a long way up. Luke Lucchesi already on the move with the Scarlet car.
Yeah, Luke Lucchesi already battling his way through the pack, already up into that, Luke, into fifth position. There we go. That took me to a bit of too long to find. But Gerald Maget also finds himself in the pound seats there in the seventh position. He's chasing down Wayne Camage ahead of him in that colours. But let's have a look here. Willem Botha made heavy contact with somebody there. That is a replay of what happened there through turn number one. Just ahead of him there was also a lot of contact, and just look at that front left wheel just keeps on straightening in a straight position, and no matter where he turns that steering wheel.
Yeah, that did not look good for him at all. We also had Renier that jumped into the pits at that state of the fight, and then Johan Engelbrecht that took a long time to get onto the grid. He also had a bit of a off. Oh, look at that, locks up that left-hand front completely. And, it's going to cost him quite heavily. Let's go back to the front end of the field.
Yeah, a heavy lock up there for him. But at the front of the field, it is Francois Hubert, who's now got a steady, not a comfortable lead, but a steady lead over second-place man Johan Fourie. And this is going to be magic to watch as these guys chase each other down in the Dallara F3 cars out here at the Red Bull Ring. Francois Hubert from Johan Fourie. Then Luke Lucchesi has now already worked his way up into third position, and he's going to start hounding down the guys at the front. We've seen Luke Lucchesi come back from far worse starts and catch up to those front-running guys. Remember, they started on 50% fuel. Where it's going to play out for them in Raestrom, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, there's Johan Fourie up into that second position. Luke Lucchesi in third. Andre Steenkamp in there behind that. And it's Wayne Camage, and you can't miss out on that yellow car of Wayne Camage whatsoever. Herman Lazarus has dropped a little bit down with the 3 car, but still there and thereabouts where he needs to be. That's the blue car that you see, and then the man that started the whole series, Dr. Mike Verrier, up into 7th with his favourite number, 33.
Yeah, 33 8 call 24/7 car out there in 7th position. He's being hounded down there by Sandro Bakari in that 8th position. But now riding on board with Peter van der Spey as somebody shoots off the circuit there. Captain Pete in the number 8 car, that black and a green. Let's have a look who that was. Raymond Duggan just overcooks it in the Renault coloured cars coming out of turn number 1.
Well, you'll get that one back together, back to the front end of the field, and Johan Fourie in that second position, chasing down Francois Hubert. Let's have a look at what the intervals are at this early stage. Remember, this is a 50% fuel load. It's a 40-minute race that they've got out there. And Francois Hubert, from the get-go, was the fastest man in the qualifying session. And look how he's stretching them out already. Brilliant stuff. Francois Hubert, one of the top racers in the series. There is Johan Fourie just behind that. Look, Lucchesi spent the whole afternoon putting computers together for us. Andre Steenkamp, one of his best for a long time. Wayne Camage under a lot of pressure now is Wayne Camage. Here comes Herman Lazarus fighting back for that inside line. Will they give one another enough space? Yes, they do, using the track and more as they work their way through that long right-hander. Everybody uses a lot of track there. But look at that battle royal coming through behind that. It's Gerald Maget, Sandro Bakari, Mike Verrier, Herman Lazarus, and Wayne Camage, all of them in that battle.
Yeah, all of them in that battle there with from Camage all the way down to Sandro Bakari. Gerald Maget just out of touch. He's about a second, 1.1 seconds behind them, but anything can happen in this race. Sandro Bakari, 0.2 of a second on the man ahead of him. That is Dr. Mike Verrier in a bit of trouble as Sandro Bakari can get very, very close with this car. It's interesting to see how this type of open-wheeler racing single-seater suits some of the guys a lot more than what some of the normal sports and GT cars that we're accustomed to seeing out on circuit suits them.
And then also, if you look at the guys that were riding with the Mazda MX-5s, they had also a completely different style. But look at this, look at the revs as runs at 3rd gear, 4th gear, flat foot all the way through. Now a bit of a downhill corner. difficult to see the apex of that one as you go into the entry. Lovely full grandstands there on the right-hand side. Just feather it in fourth gear, turn it in. Look at how nice that smooth the steering movement is there on Sandro Bakari. But even though he's going so hard, he's not closing up. Herman Lazarus is the next man that looks like he's going to make up a position.
Yeah, that's going through the second to last corner now, going through the Red Bull Mobile corner and back onto the main straight. And that's a chase down to the start-finish line as we ride on board with Herman Lazarus as he's trying to catch up to Wayne Kamich. Kamich trying everything he can to desperately stay out of the way, but he loses a position. Dr. Mike Verrier sees a gap and he takes it and says, "Thank you, Herman, I'll take that," and he brings with him Sandro Bakari.
Oh my goodness, look at that lovely colours of that cannon car. Look at that. Wow, that is something else. As they work their way down, they're very close to one another and they actually touch one another. Mike Verrier on that inside line as he works his way through. He runs it wide. Sandro Bakari says thanks very much. He brings with him Herman Lazarus, but in behind that, here comes Peter van der Spey and Gerald Maget's in there as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle royale. Peter van der Spey is in there behind van der Spey, Gerald Maget, all of them trying to battle it out there. But the man who's leading this whole charge is the Williams coloured car, the Rothmans Williams coloured car of Sandro Bakari ahead of this whole train. But he's got Mike Verrier, Peter van der Spey, Herman Lazarus, Gerald Maget as he makes a mistake. And Dr. Mike loses it. And that opens the door for everybody to come flying past.
Well, the first man that went wide there was, in fact, Herman Lazarus. As you can see coming into the corner, I think he actually moved out of the way saying, man, this is just getting too tight. There's not enough space here. And then Mike Verrier, that had been doing fantastically, he was the next one that had a bit of a situation there, and the backing just locked up just a little bit too hard on the gas as he came out of the corner. And then Mike Verrier actually crashed just after that as well. So let's see what happened there. Maybe somebody whacked into the back of him, but Mike Verrier not having a good one at the moment now. I don't see any further action on that one. Going back to the live, going back to the front end of the field. Let's have a quick look at how it's going up front with Francois Hubert.
Francois Hubert starting to pull a massive gap there on second place man Johan Fourie. 2.3 seconds the gap between them. Just look at that space between them as Johan Fourie is that chasing man. We've seen Fourie back off slightly in the opening stages of the race, and then all of a sudden from nowhere just pushes it in there. But in third position, he can't fall back too much because Luc Lucchesi is on the hunt. He's brought that gap down to 3.5 seconds behind Fourie, and right behind him, Andre Steenkamp in the, is that the Alfa Romeo colours on that car of Andre Steenkamp, with Sandro Bakari in that fifth position in the Williams Rothmans Racing colour scheme in fifth place.
Wow, look at that. Sandro Bakari is a little bit further back with that Canon colour scheme. Beautiful Williams colours there. And then just behind that, there he comes. It's Peter van der Spey.
Yeah, well, no pun intended, but the captain is flying today out there, working his way up from quite far back in the pack, up into that sixth position, and it looks like he's starting to close up on the back end there of Bakari. He had to fight his way through a lot of the other guys, and he's already worked himself up into that sixth position, and he's already faster. He's on a good lap out there. He's going to be right on Bakari. Bakari made a mistake, and that allows the captain up into P5.
Here you can see the last lap times that they did. Peter van der Spey, a 1:25.147, and well, that's what made the difference from himself and Sandro Bakari, 1:26.233 on that last lap. So wow, battles going on everywhere. And Stephen McCarthy's on the move as well. Let's have a look at Stephen.
Now, Stephen McCarthy currently sitting there in that ninth position. He is busy fighting his way through the pack as well, up in that Shujin Properties car. But going back to the front, it's Van der Spey that now makes the same mistake that Bakari made earlier, and Bakari's fought his way back up into that fifth place. But this battle is far from over, Gary.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And well, 35-minute race, 10 minutes gone already. 50% fuel load. Not sure exactly how far that fuel's going to get. Oh, up on the inside. Peter van der Spey, yeah, the captain, she be flying.
I think he forgot where he is today. He thinks he's in the cockpit of one of his jets, but it does look like he's made that move sick now. But just look at that hard charge. Is that Willem Botha? Who is that behind him?
That must be a lapped vehicle. Let's
Yeah.
go and have a look at that battle
It
box.
does look like Willem Botha. Yeah, Willem Botha. That was right there with him as well, being lapped this early in the race already. He must have picked up some troubles earlier with those crashes that we saw. But there we have Stephen McCarthy in P9 with Raymond Duggan, the man sitting there in that 10th position. The comeback kid having a bit of trouble out here with the open wheeler single-seaters today.
It's a completely different world out there for these guys, I must say. I personally love these single-seaters. I know, sports and GT is based on sports and GT, but the guys, whoopsie, that must be Herman Lazarus.
Yeah, that was definitely Herman Lazarus that lost the tail end there. These cars are so tricky to drive. I mean, that's why we have guys that do end up fighting in Formula 1 when they start in these categories, because these aren't the easiest cars to get in and drive. And I must say, the guys are doing very, very well. Being caught out occasionally, luckily keeping it out of the barrier.
Yep. Well, another man that had a bit of a problem was Renier Hubert, and a long time to get going there again. Renier Hubert, he had a bit of a off track as well. Let's see what happened to him. Yeah, I think he just used the track limits there more than anything else. But we've forgotten about the front end of the field. Who's up front? Black and white, Francois Hubert.
Francois Hubert in that AlphaTauri sponsored car. The guys at Red Bull would be quite happy, because AlphaTauri, the clothing brand of Red Bull, and he is leading the race there. But now riding on board with your 8th place man, that was, Stephen McCarthy. But back at the front, Francois Hubert is leading this one. The gap back down to 2.3 seconds with Luc Lucchesi. Look at this, Gary. Luc Lucchesi still gaining on the likes there of Johan Fourie.
Well, I was lucky enough to spend the afternoon with Luc Lucchesi, and the amount of information that he gave me in terms of steering wheels and direct drives and pedals and load cells and trail braking and the difference between how the pit stops is done in the different classes was utterly amazing, and that just showed me exactly why this man is where he is. Talking about where he is, Andre Steenkamp is where he isn't normally. It's a long time back, season and a half back, that we saw Andre Steenkamp in this kind of form. Yes, 12 seconds off Luc Lucchesi, but look at all the big names behind him.
Yeah, a lot of big names behind him, and that means he's kept his nose clean and out of trouble. The closest man to him at this stage of the fight, Peter van der Spey, who is, 7/10 of a second behind him. Yeah, 7/10 of a second, 7 seconds, behind Andre Steenkamp, with Bakari sitting in that 6th position, a further 1.8 seconds behind, and Stephen McCarthy finding himself in that 7th place.
Well, Raymond Duggan in the top 8, but Raymond Duggan's got Gerald Maget right in there behind him, and Gerald Maget looking pretty good in the 41 car, just 0.7 of a second as they complete yet another lap, 13 minutes down of this 35. How does the impact of possible pit stops and the tyre changes, now if I've got it correct, the tyre change goes hand in hand with the fuel filling on this form of motor car. If that's the case, 99 out of 100 of the guys are going to then do a tyre change and fuel stop at the same time if they feel the necessity to do that. Mike Verrier and Wayne Camage in there, not that far off. There is Dr. Mike Verrier making a bit of a comeback now as he finds himself just outside of the top 10.
Yeah, just outside of the top 10 is Mike Verrier, 0.8 of a second there off of Wayne Camage. And that is, we know Dr. Mike, this is not something that's insurmountable for him. Can he put a lap together that's nice and clean? Somebody's off. Who was Stephen McCarthy in the Sujin car was the man that got stuck there in the kitty litter.
Let's see how that one was there. But
there was contact, Willem Botha.
That actually happened there. Well, I tell you what, how do you see that coming? It's very, very difficult to be able to know when somebody's coming from that direction. Let's see what it looks like from inside of the Stephen McCarthy car.
Yeah, well, Gary, this will give you a nice indication. That contact from Willem Botha was with the front wing. If you look at this is what the driver sees from their perspective when they race. You can't see that front wing. So when you clip somebody, you got to guess where your front wing end plates are and if it's going to be where somebody else's wheel is.
So this is what he saw. Well, that's what he felt. He didn't see anything. You couldn't even see it in the mirrors. That's what happened to Stephen McCarthy.
Yeah.
And, well, what can I say? It happens. That's part of motorsport. That's the way it is. The man up front, Francois Hubert.
Francois Hubert leading this one in the AlphaTauri car, starting to pull out a slight gap again there ahead of Johan Fourie. Just look how far away 2.5 seconds is between this form of racing. Let's have a look here and see what Andre Steenkamp did. Went a bit wide. Did he get the tail end out? Ooh,
Exactly the same as what happened to
Yeah.
Herman Lazarus just a little bit earlier on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him whatsoever. 2.7 seconds, catchable, given the amount of time that there still is on the track out there. Well, if anybody's going to catch you, it's going to be that man, Johan Fourie. There's no doubt about it. Don't forget about Luke Lucchese. Luke Lucchese is slowly but surely closing in.
Yeah, Gary, it's one thing for Fourie to catch you bad, but Lucchese is the man on the move. He's worked that down from about 4 seconds down to 1.6 seconds now to the back of Johan Fourie is Luke Lucchese. He's definitely the man on the move and stands a very, very good chance to either finish in second or third position. But catching is one thing. Can he overtake? That's the other question.
Renier Hubert looks like he had an off-track. Yep, that was Renier Hubert going off circuit. So it takes a bit of time to get going again after that. As you can see, he battled to get back onto the track, just trying to get some traction going there. And the seconds just tick away and keep on ticking away until you eventually find yourself getting back out onto the circuit. I think he must set his mirrors. You can't see much out of those.
You can't see much out of the mirrors, but I picked up something here from that shot now, Gary, and this is part due to the massive upgrade that was done here to the second gear production studios. If you checked when he went off, those tires got so dirty you can't imagine how he can get grip. Only after he got back onto the circuit did it start clearing away. So even that comes into a factor. You don't want to go off and get those tires dirty because that will affect your performance.
Yeah, no doubt about it whatsoever. Wayne Camage closing all the time on the back end there of Graham Stephen. And Graham hold him out. Graham goes very defensive, so that means that he's very aware of the pace of Wayne Camage as he went on that very defensive line and closed that one off. Another battle is going a little bit further down, and that is in fact Willem Pinaar that finds himself trying to fight his way further up the field after the problem, the off that he had earlier on. So Willem Pinaar in there behind Suisse Hubert, and then it's a lapped car in front of that, which I think is... no, it's not. It's the next
for
man in the
position.
race.
Yeah, it's JJ van der Merwe, who kind of seems like he moves out of the way there for Pinaar and Suisse, as both those cars came flying past him, and JJ van der Merwe in the Lotus color car drops down to 16th.
Let's go back to the front end of the field. Francois Hubert. Well, you got to come back every now and again and come and have a look, see what's happening at the front end of the field. And you've got to just honor this man's abilities and the smoothness. When last have you seen a replay of Francois Hubert going off circuit? You don't see it very easily whatsoever. And to stay ahead of the very quick Johan Fourie, you've got to be really on song.
Yeah, got to be really on song there. Fourie in second, Lucchese in third, chasing down Fourie. Then Captain Pete out there in that fourth position, 26 seconds behind the top three guys. Then Sandra Bakari in P5, another 2 seconds adrift, followed by Andre Steenkamp. He's dropped down to that sixth position now in the Alfa Romeo colours. Then Raymond Duggan finds himself up in that 7th position. He's worked his way up from 10th. Then Gerald Berger in 8th. And Dr. Mike already up into 9th position, followed by Stephen McCarthy.
Yeah, Stephen's got a bit of space behind him to the recovering Herman Lazarus. Remember, he was right up front there initially. And Graham Stephen, well, not where he wants to be whatsoever. He finds himself a long way down. Mike Verrier looks like he wants to make up some positions. He's putting in some very, very quick laps inside of the top 10. Closing down on Gerald Berger, and I think he's making use now of that slipstream. Look how he just follows him through.
Yeah, that puts him into a bit of a position where the car doesn't have to work as hard to push through the air to catch up to the back there. He's right up on the case there of Berger. He's going to try for the inside. Oh, he's got to go hard on the brakes as Berger becomes very defensive. Now they're going to go up that hill into turn number, what was that? I think that is going into turn number 3 into Strasgold. No, that's into Rauch. That's turn number 4 coming up now as Berger gets a bit of a lock-up. And this puts him firmly into the grasp there of Dr. Mike.
Well, let's see what happens from here. It's going to be that long downhill left-hander, and it's a long turn. That's a Wirth curve, and they're very, very close to one another. And the next one will be the right-hander. That's turn 6 now. They're on their way to a very well-known Rint corner. spelled R-I-N-D-T, and I do believe that is linked to the legendary Jochen Rindt from many years ago.
Yeah, and now going through that final corner. Oh, Dr. Mike goes very wide, but now he's on maximum attack going down the main straight, catches up to the back and he's going to dive to the right. He's going to come up alongside the likes of Mauger into turn number 1. Dr. Mike seals it up for P7.
And he took a very nice line going in there. Mauger took a much longer, wider line to try and carry the pace. But you see, Mauger doesn't climb directly in behind Mike Verrier to try and pick up that slipstream. Mike was using that slipstream exactly where they are now, the last lap, and that's what brought Mike just that little bit closer.
Yeah, through turn 3 they go. Remus corner down that straightaway. They're going to go up into turn number 4, Schloss Gold. That is Dr. Mike fighting that for that 7th position. Gerald Mauger not giving up on it just yet, but that is the closest battle other than the battle there for Eugene Manouk and JJ van der Merwe. But let's have a look and see what the guys do out there. I don't know if that is a connectivity issue or if he's dove into the pits. But where's Francois? If he's into the pits, Francois Hubert is in the pits, according to the leaderboard.
Wow, there's something must have gone wrong there. Not sure exactly how that one happened. We'll try and pick that up on the replays for you. But it's taken Luc Lucchese to the front end of the field, and that with Johan Verrier as well. Wow, it's all happening so quickly. We can't even keep tabs on everything that's happening out there.
Yeah.
So Luc Lucchese and
Verrier's back.
Yeah, now that is connectivity. We have seen that in the past. Johan Verrier stays up just above us here in Plateaukloof, and he's often had those kind of issues where he goes off screen completely and then just pops up back on screen again. So Johan Verrier still where he needs to be, the next man through there, Luc Lucchese, but quite a big gap between the two of them. Captain Pieter van der Spey is 23 seconds further back, but in the top 5 where he wants to be, and that 4 seconds ahead of Sandro Bakari. That'll be the next man coming through there. There is Sandro Bakari, Andre Steenkamp there behind him as well. So Steenkamp is doing a pretty decent job out there today. Obviously likes this style of racing in these motor cars. Raymond Duggan in there as well.
Gary, we definitely missed something bad because Francois Hubert was in the pits and he only just came back out. Francois Hubert, sorry. Lucchese was 1.5 seconds behind Johan Verrier before we lost track of them. All of a sudden, Francois Hubert is in the pits. Lucchese goes into the pits now. Before he goes into the pits, he was 8 seconds behind the likes of Johan Verrier. So we missed something major somewhere between these guys.
The replay of Francois Hubert leaving the pit lane. So yes, he was in for a stop. Let's hope it was just a normal routine stop for him, as Luc Lucchese and Pieter van der Spey are very close to one another. Oh, that's a pity. That's a big, big pity. And Luc Lucchese, let's hope he doesn't have too much damage on that motor car.
Yeah, that's going to cause quite a bit of damage, a knock like that, and that drops Pieter van der Spey down the. Look at how Pieter van der Spey starts tumbling down. He was in that 4th or 5th position behind Lucchese, and the guys now. Lucchese not happy with the handling on that car. That car not handling the way he wants it.
That crash of Pieter van der Spey is, in fact, I see him listed here that he's actually had 2 crashes as Pieter van der Spey. And there you see he's off circuit there as well. So definitely turning all pear-shaped for him. And he, in fact, did jump back to the pits. And that will cost him kind of dearly. Let's go back to the front end of the field. It's that man himself, Johan Verrier.
Yeah, well, Johan Verrier finds himself in the pound seats. Gary, just for interest's sake, can you possibly bring up the X's that they got, the track transgressions? I have a feeling something happened here that one of the guys might have gotten. Also, no, Francois Hubert, yes. 17 is a drive-through. He's on 19.
That was a drive-through.
Oh my goodness!
It must have been.
Yeah, Johan Engelbrecht 1 away from a disqualification.
Oh my goodness gracious me! Well, it's turning out to be something else. The guys are now diving into the pits. Herman Lazarus is in. Camage is in as well. And yeah, we're definitely in for that one. Peter van der Spey is in the pit lane. I think he's going to be fixing up some damage there. Eugene Manuk is in there as well. And the guys piling in one after the other. In fact, it is going to be that man himself, Johan Ferry, into the pit lane as well from that lead position. 40 seconds ahead of Sandro Bakari.
Yeah, he's. I don't think anybody's going to catch up to Johan Ferry. He's only had one off-track transgression, and he's 40 seconds ahead of his closest competitor, Sandro Bakari, in that second position. But a lot of the guys dove into the pits now. It'll be wonderful to see who ends up where once everybody's done those pit stops. But Bakari finding himself in P2 with Andre Steenkamp in a third. He drops down to fourth now as he goes into the pit lane. But Raymond Duggan out there in third as Bakari now dives into the pits.
Andre Steenkamp coming into the pit lane as well. There's Andre Steenkamp as he comes in. Gerald Maget is in as well as Stephen McCarthy. Stephen's also in there. And, well, one after the other all coming into the pits now. Sandro Bakari is still in there. He hasn't come out yet. There's Sandro Bakari. I think Sandro's going to be on his way, in fact, out of the pits now. Yep, that's Sandro Bakari coming out. So he's looking pretty decent. Look, Lucchesi's had 2 stops already. That must be because of the damage that he had. But he was one of the frequent flyer quick chargers out there. So Sandro Bakari coming back out on track, and he finds himself still in the top 5.
Well, Graham Stephen has worked his way up into 6th position even after having a pit stop. So that's kind of played into his hand as Gerald Maget now comes out of a pit lane in P11 with that Gulf oil coloured car, the number 41 car. But Raymond Duggan hasn't done a pit stop yet, but hey, he can say he's up into P2 in this race.
Well, once upon a 2 times he was definitely up there in second, and Mike Verrier as well. Also, neither of the 2 of them have stopped, which will probably mean, given the spacing there, that Johan Ferry and Luc Lucchesi will recover that first and second positions. Does that mean that Sandro Bakari is probably going to end up in a third once everybody's done their pit stops? Very possible. Raymond Duggan comes flying into the pits. Where is Mike Verrier? Mike Verrier
also in the pit lane.
Yep, he comes in as well. So the next man that's going to come through there is going to be Luc Lucchesi.
As he comes around the final corner, it is Lucchesi that now will reclaim that second position in this race behind Johan Ferry. That'll promote Sandro Bakari up into P3 behind the likes of Lucchesi as he comes down the main straight now in the Williams coloured number 17 car.
Yes.
Yeah, the 72 car, sorry, as he goes up into third position.
Wow, look at that. Sandro Bakari, he's on a flyer tonight. Lovely stuff for him. 7 seconds off Luc Lucchesi. Luc Lucchesi 37 seconds off Johan Ferry. Somehow he always gets it right. A brilliant drive so far by Raymond Duggan, one of his best for a long, long time. And somebody else coming out of the pit lane just outside of the top 10, Graham Stephen. But look at that Mike Verrier battle just in front of him.
Yeah, Mike Verrier battling it out there with Suisse Hubert. He's about just under a second there behind Suisse. And we know in these cars it's not a lot. It looks like a lot, but it's so close actually. Anything can happen between these guys. But Suisse Hubert starting to gain on the man ahead of him, Stephen McCarthy.
Yep, they're getting into a very close battle there. Now, Mike will be hoping that you'll get a bit of protective driving from Suisse Hubert on Stephen McCarthy, or Stephen McCarthy trying to protect that line in the Sujin Properties car. And if they start doing that, I see Johan Engelbrecht diving into the pit lane as well, just a bit further down on your leaderboard. So Mike Verrier, while he's got to look at that sun that's busy setting behind the trees, that's going to get a little bit difficult a lap or 2 from now as a passing maneuver happening up front.
Yeah, they're basically side by side, and Suisse Hubert now takes that position ahead there of Stephen McCarthy. McCarthy tried desperately to try and fend off the likes there of Suisse Hubert, but Suisse has other plans in mind.
Wow, what a brilliant race so far. 30 minutes of the 35. Whatever you were going to do, you had to make a plan and do it pretty quickly. Mike Verrier right in there behind Stephen McCarthy. Robbie Teens back into the pits again. So maybe a bit of damage or a drive through there for him as Mike Verrier in that 8th position. So let's have a look from the top end down.
Yeah, starting in that first position, Johan Fourie basically did everything right out there up until this point in time. 5 minutes to go in this race. He leads them with a 1:23.412 personal best out there the last lap. Lucchesi, 36 seconds down from him, starting to catch up, but that mistake has cost him dearly, and he finds himself in that second place ahead of Sandra Bakari, who's 10 seconds down the line in the Williams coloured car. Raymond Duggan up into a P4, about 2 seconds off the likes there of Sandra Bakari, but he's done enough to stay 5 seconds ahead there of Andre Steenkamp in P5.
Andre Steenkamp right in there in the top 5. Lovely to see Andre Steenkamp having a good race for a change. He's had his fair share of battles. Suisse Joubert of the well-known Joubert clan in the Valvoline colours. We haven't seen much footage of him. He's had pretty much open space in front and behind of him all day long. Stephen McCarthy coming through in the Sujin Properties car just behind that, and that just ahead of Mike Verrier as they take the climb up towards turn number 1, Castrol Edge.
Yeah, into Castrol Edge they go there. Stephen McCarthy being chased down by Mike Verrier. Verrier getting closer and closer. It's hovering to just under a second at this stage of the fight in that P8. In a P9, Gerald Maget, he's about 11 seconds off the back there of Dr. Mike. Trying very, very hard to catch up there, but he's in trouble because Graham Stevens alongside him. Graham Stevens going to try to make the pass for P9. Is he going to do it? Side by side they go. Sure.
Nothing in it.
Yeah, there he goes. Graham Stevens does enough to slip up on the inside there of Gerald Maget. Maget trying to fight back, but just not on the accelerator quick enough, and it looks like Graham Stevens has done enough.
Well, I tell you what, that was last of the late breakers stuff. There was nothing in it when they were side by side. No drafting, no nothing. Oh, we're going to have a I was thought we were going to have a replay of the last of the late breakers. But, yep, Graham Stevens done it all right. It looks like Suisse Joubert might still make up the position.
Yeah, Suisse Joubert battling it out there with Andre Steenkamp, 0.2 of a second behind him. It's the Valvoline car versus the Alfa Romeo coloured car there of Andre Steenkamp. He's right up on that back diffuser of Steenkamp. Is Joubert, dives for the inside, coming down the main straight, side by side they go across the start finish line, and it looks like it's Joubert that makes that move stick on Andre Steenkamp.
That's going to hurt because that takes Andre out of the top 5, and he was doing so well up until now. 32.5 minutes that's gone, and it's just been action aplenty. Amazing stuff out there. And well, there's still that Mike Verrier battle that's carrying on. That one's not finished yet, as they come once again into the brake markers. Lots of late braking and hard braking that's been happening with these cars, and it looks like a decent set of pedals and a very good foot on the brake is the deciding factor with working your way through the pack with these cars.
Yeah, Willem Pinaar just sitting there watching this battle unfold in front of him. There's nothing he can do. He's a back marker as Dr. Mike goes up on the inside of Stephen McCarthy, and these guys battling it hard out there for 6th, 7th and 8th position, but it's Dr. Mike that moves up into 7th ahead there of Stephen McCarthy.
Well, just 2 minutes to go. That's all that's left in it at this stage of the fight, and somehow or other, Johan Fourie just makes a plan. He always finds his way to the front one way or another.
Oh, well, Gary, it's one thing to be quick. It's one thing to be quick and consistent and stay out of trouble.
Oh, can you do it in the traffic? Well, he doesn't have to do it in the traffic. He gets away from the traffic. But if anybody could have given him a go today, it was Lucchesi. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out where it went wrong for Lucchesi, because I don't think he had a drive-through. I think he had a mistake somewhere. That dropped him back down into the traffic by the time he did his pit stop, and then he came out in that contact between himself and Captain Pete. That's what ultimately cost him a biggie in this race.
Well, with 1 minute to go, you've got to take your hat off to Sandro Bakari. His best race in a long time.
Oh, yeah. And I almost feel bad because for once he's not riding in Italian Ferrari colours. He's out there in Williams colours, and he's actually going to be on the podium for this one.
Oh, that was always his favourite colours. Another man that's had a brilliant race. He'll be smiling from ear to ear. Raymond Duggan. Well done, Raymond, in the top 5. And that ahead of the highly acclaimed Suisse Joubert. That's something else.
Yeah, the guys battling it out there as we run into the last 30 seconds of this race. It is Raymond Duggan that finds himself in P4. But let's enjoy the last couple of seconds with your race leader as he goes up that straight to turn number 2, or turn number 3, the Remus corner, as they're going to go through there now. Yeah, there they go into that King. That's Schlossgold, I think. Yeah, that's Schlossgold. Now you're going to go into the Rauch corner where you can see that Red Bull statue poised over that little bay, you can almost call it, as they're going to go into that short straight. Then there's another left-hander. This is the last lap. We are officially done with the time. So the man on the lead lap, Johan Fourie, going to take him to the line.
Yep, it's lovely to ride on board with Johan Fourie. Multiple main circuit champ. Ooh, he's going to throw it away. He's going to throw it away. Has he got a big enough gap? He's got a 50-second gap. He just must not get nailed now by somebody coming through there. Can you believe it? On the very last, he almost threw it away. Johan Fourie on the last, making that error. Oh, that's more like it. Let's just bring it across the line.
Whew. My heart almost exploded now, because when I saw that, Lucchese disappeared off the timing screens, but he managed to get it back on there. Lucchese's going to finish his lap 36 seconds down the line. He's going to cross the finish line. That's into the last corner now. No, not yet. He's going to go into that last corner pretty soon, is Lucchese. There he goes now into the last corner, down to the main straight, and he brings it home in P2. And well done, Johan Fourie, Luke Lucchese. But special tip of the hat to the third place man, Sandro Beccari, bringing it across the line and now coming out of the last corner.
Sandro, well done. And don't forget about the man right in there behind him, Raymond Duggan. Brilliant, Raymond. Dr. Mike 10 seconds further back, but inside, inside of the top 5, trying to stay ahead of Stephen McCarthy. Stephen had a go right on the last there. Stephen McCarthy coming across the line. Mike weaves across. He can't talk to him, but you can say, hey, look here, I just beat you, buddy. Brilliant race. Brilliant race.
Why is the race finished?
It's, I think we should have a rerun somehow. Andre Steenkamp eventually coming through there in that 8th position, and then Francois Hubert from Gerald Maget as he comes across the line. And then, Swiss Hubert has come across the line as well. Let's pick up the next man coming through there. That'll be Herman Lazarus. He comes across the line. And then, Wayne Camage was doing magnificently earlier on, and he comes across the line to finish his race there as well.
What a fun race this has been, Gary. I can't believe 35 minutes has already gone by. It can't be the end of it. I want more of this. This was fun.
Unfortunately, it's over. And, wow, Red Bull Ring, Spielberg, Styria region in Austria, a track that started in 1969, and we're still having fun on this track up until today.
Lovely stuff. So let's have a look at who finished where. Your race winner, of course, Johan Fourie, the man that was the top guy out there, followed by Luke Lucchese, the man that brought it home in second position, with Sandro Beccari finishing off your podium there in that third position, with Raymond Duggan in fourth, and Mike Verrier, well done Dr. Mike, with that top 5 finish.
Oh, that was utterly brilliant, I must say. That was, you can see the gaps. It's actually almost an unfair reproduction if you look at the gaps there between the guys. Good luck, bad luck. It's these cars. It's just the format of these cars. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. Top 5, Johan Fourie from Luke Lucchese, well done. Sandro Beccari, well done. Raymond Duggan, well done. Mike Verrier, top 5.
Well, you can see some of the guys still having fun out there on the main straight as the sun starts to set here on the Red Bull Ring. In 6th position, Graham Stephen, Andre Steenkamp bringing it home in 7th, with Francois Hubert in 8th, Gerald Maget in 9th position, and Herman Lazarus rounding off your top 10.
Fantastic stuff. Wayne Camage from Stephen McCarthy, Swiss Hubert, JJ van der Merwe, Peter van der Spey, Robbie Teams from Jan Engelbrecht, and Willem Pinaar. Brilliant stuff, FC Nieuwoud. Thank you for joining me, Mike Side. Thank you to the guys that made it possible to get to the level where we are in iRacing, and a massive big thanks to Luke Lucchese, and also to Jaco Steyn.
Jaco Steyn was instrumental as well.
Hours. Peter van der Spey for helping to put it together, and then to all the people that helped to finance Sujin Properties, Johan Engelbrecht, our elderly statesman that doesn't race with us anymore, Cyril Ginsberg, and I'm trying to think now who else was in there as well. There was a couple of guys. Oh, and then 2 of the Huberts were in there as well with that, and then also Jaco Steyn putting his money in there to make that happen. And it's utterly fantastic that we have people of that caliber that's involved with iRacing South Africa.
Yeah, from my side, a big thanks to everybody that was instrumental in getting this done. It was such a pleasure and a joy to commentate and be able to see the visuals that we got tonight. And a big thanks from my side as well. Frankie Innes, you picked a bad night to have the sniffles and not be able to join us. Best of luck to you, buddy. I hope you feel better soon so that you can come in and experience the brand new Second Gear production studio. From my side, FC Nivo, it was lovely being here with you guys, and I look forward to the next round of the Sports and GT Master Series. Goodbye, everyone.
From Second Gear Productions, good night, everyone.